Good evening, everyone. It's Denise from Dobby Books. So it's Tag Tuesday. I'm a little late in the day, but I guess that's okay. And I have so many tags that I was tagged in. So I know when I went through and I was collecting them and printing out the prompts that I've missed a few. So I want to apologize ahead of time to those that I've forgotten. And if you're so inclined, I certainly won't be offended if you send me a little reminder and say, I tagged you for such and such tag and give me the link, and I'll be happy to participate in that because, now I have all the time in the world. And I do want to mention there's one that I won't be doing, that I can tell you now I won't be doing when it talks about high school books that we read. I forget the name of that one. I was just recently tagged by genre books. And I don't know who it was before then, but that's a tag I'm not going to be able to do, and quite simply because when I was going to high school in the 70s, there were two tracks at my high school, college prep and vocational. Because I didn't think I was smart enough for college prep, I chose vocational. The only reading that we were assigned that I can recall was early in my high school years. We had to read The Catcher in the Rye, and my response to that at the time was I hated it. But of course, I am going to be rereading it now as an adult, and I'm sure I'm going to be getting a much a better perspective on it, obviously, after more life experience. But other than that, there are no books that I recall. And I'm sure most of it is my memory, but I don't remember assigned reading in high school like that at all. So I think I have to recuse myself from that one. I won't be able to participate in that one, but I do want to thank those that did tag me for that. I do appreciate it. All right, so the one I'm going to do tonight, I know came from Robert G. Reader of Books, and it's about booktubers and their posting habits. And I'm doing this cold. I think a lot of them I didn't want to do a lot of preparation for unless I saw something there. Maybe I had to pull a book from a shelf or something like that, and then I'll do that. But this is going cold, so I will go through it as smoothly as possible. So the first prompt is this. When recording a post, do you read from a prepared script, or do you refer to notes or a broad outline, or do you speak extemporaneously? Especially with when it's just a book haul, that's just extemporaneously. That's the easiest one to do. When I'm talking about a particular book or book series or author, for example, I try to get a little background included in that. So something about the author, something about their credentials. Oh, hold on. Hey, Mama. I had to let the kitty cat in. Okay. So when I'm dealing with a specific book series, author, I will do some background information to give you guys a little bit of context. And also, if there's a book like I'm going to be reviewing soon, there are some quotes that I want to pull from that book. So in that case, there's a little bit of preparation. I'm trying to be a little bit more prepared for future posts because I really want to make my videos more precise and connected and more interesting. I think when it flows like that and it goes well like that, the audience is going to be more interested and I'll keep their attention a little bit longer. Prompt number 2, do you edit before you post? Deleting hems and haws, misspeaks, mispronunciations, and other common public speaking foibles. Do you remove things you didn't mean to say or off-topic thoughts or comments you think might be misunderstood? Yes, I do edit. I use an app on my phone called Splice. I've tried other editing software, and Splice so far has been the winner for me. And right after I record, I get onto Splice, download the video that I did, and listen to it, and just put little headings if I have to do, shorten a certain section if I was gabbing too long, or if the um, space between what I wanted to say and what I actually finally said is a little long. I do that. And in this video here, you're going to notice I already edited it because I had to get up to let the kitty cat in the door, and you didn't need all that blank air happening while I was doing that. Things I didn't mean to say. Sometimes I'll do that. Like, well, that was stupid. So I end up cutting that out. Mispronunciations, not really. Do that too many times. Things that might be misunderstood. I think, yeah, that would go into the category of things I didn't mean to say. I'll probably think twice about something. Maybe this has happened once or twice where I go, that's probably not necessary, and I just cut it out altogether. And I've never regretted that. It's just a smoother video in the end. Number 3, have you ever edited a post after posting? Yes, I have. Either because I didn't like the screenshot for that video and I want to change it. I've forgotten to add information to the details box. But I don't think I ever edited the actual video itself, because that part's done. Have you ever deleted an entire post? I think I did that once, and I don't remember what the post was. And I don't even remember if I re-recorded it. I don't remember, but I do remember just deleting one. And that was in the last year, for whatever reason. Number 4, are there certain topics you avoid, things you regard as too personal or too controversial? I think when it comes to religion, because I know where I stand spiritually or denominationally, and I know in our climate right now, not necessarily political climate, but even before that, people become uncomfortable when you talk about religion or faith or spirituality. It makes them uncomfortable. And I acknowledge that it's okay, right? But there's that careful balance, I guess, between not feeling intimidated by that, feeling like it's still okay for me to share some topics that do interest me or are important to me, because there are people out there in BookTube world who are also interested in the same things. So I'm not going to hold back for that reason. But I also try to be sensitive to those who may be uncomfortable by that. I'm not going to worry about the ones who are offended by it, because I think that's another issue altogether. I just want to be sensitive to those who may not be so comfortable with that topic. So I sort of give a little disclaimer, or I introduce the topic as gently as I can to sort of give them the opportunity to decide whether they're going to move forward to a later part of the video when I talk about something else, or if they just want to skip the video altogether. So kind of like that balance. And that's the only issue I think that I really try to be really conscientious about. Politics, yeah, I do approach politics, but I do, again, try not to dwell on that too much, because there's so much of it hitting us 24/7, and it's not good. So BookTube is a break. BookTube is a time for us to do what we love and what helps us to feel better. So I try not to talk about it too much. I drop little hints, little innuendos. I don't really want to get too much into it. That was 3, 4. That was 4. Number 5. Do your posts include graphics, special lighting, music, fast cuts, or other design enhancements? Not really. I don't I think I dabbled in that maybe last year a little bit, uh, because I saw other videos, younger um, booktubers doing that on their videos. And I thought, oh, well, let me experiment a little bit. But in the end, I thought, gosh, what am I doing this for? To look like everybody else? Or I, do I want it to reflect who I am? So here I am, this older person. Okay, I am 61, and I'm not as tech savvy as my grandchildren may be, or my children may be. And I don't have to be in order to be a booktuber or even to be an interesting person. So I reminded myself of that and decided, well, just I'm the most comfortable with just basic editing, cutting out what's unnecessary, um, posting an image of a book that I may not have a physical copy of. Perhaps I need to add certain text to the screen that's going to enhance whatever it is I'm talking about. I can do basic stuff like that. I still don't know how some of the booktubers are able to put those images of their other videos on the screen. I still haven't figured out how to do that. I don't even know what it's called. I've looked at the YouTube Studio app, and I look around, and I don't know if it's an end cap one or if it says something else. And I've sort of fiddled with it, but I can't get it to do that. So I must be doing it wrong, but I'm not worrying about it. I think I'm really just want to focus on being down to earth and interesting, just who I am, and as and in a manner that, let's say when I'm talking to someone, it's definitely low key, cash, no editing, right? It's just who we are. But in the booktube one, I want it to be like that, but a little more smoothly, a little more, let's say, maybe professionally. And that would add to the smoothness factor. But other than that, I'm just trying to be who I am. And I know lots of people out there are interested in that. They don't like the quick, images that are coming by because maybe it irritates them. I don't know. So I'm okay with minimal editing. So let's say that. Boy, that was long winded. 6, do you have a target number of posts each week? When I was still in school, it was once a week, Saturday or Sunday, and I would show the books that I had gotten and the books that I was reading and the books that I had finished, and that was once a week, and that was something I could manage. Now that I'm not having to worry about all that, I decided for now I'm still going to do my Saturday posts. That's going to focus on any books I've gotten. And Tuesday, I want to do a Tag Tuesday. And then I'm not really into Poetry Thursday. I'm not. Maybe later on I will be. So I think one more post a week, so that being the third post, and that's when I can focus in on books I've read and books I've finished. So let's say 3 days a week, I think is something I could definitely do. And I want to try to throw in a reel, maybe once a month, ballpark it, of something silly the cats do, the library kitties do, or something else that I do that's not necessarily in this room. Maybe it's some interesting place that I go to or something like that. I want to try to throw that into for the variety factor. So 3 times a week with the occasional reel. There we go. Number 7. Are there certain themed posts you contribute to regularly, such as Poetry Thursday or What Are You Reading Wednesday? What Are You Reading Wednesday? Saturday posts again, and what was the other one? I forgot, but whatever I said before. Okay, last one. Oh no, number 8. How important to you is the number of your subscribers? Is there a target number you're hoping to reach? If you don't hit your target, would you consider dropping out of BookTube? And are your posts designed to attract new subscribers? Are you distressed if you lose subscribers? To the first part of that question, how important to you is the number of your subscribers? I've decided not to think about that. I've had a steady increase in subscribers, but I don't even have 500 yet. But I can't let myself focus in on that, because the reason I started BookTube is because I wanted somebody to talk about books with. I don't have that here. I don't. I never did in my entire life. I'd have an occasional friend who also liked books, but that was occasional. I just wanted someone to talk about books with, and I wanted to listen to what they said about books. I've gotten so many ideas from you guys. Oh my gosh. And of course, I blame all of you for the size of my library, because it has increased exponentially since I've become a booktuber. But that's important to me, just to talk about books and enjoy them with all of you. And is there a target number you're hoping to reach? No. I see the next one. So I guess the bottom category on the studio part is, when you want to earn money on your channel, you have to have at least 500 subscribers and, I don't know, 3,000 views or something like that. That's in my head. Obviously, it's in my head. So when I see that I've got something like 273 subscribers, my brain is thinking, oh, look, you're getting closer to 500. But it's not what drives me. So that's about that. If you don't hit your target, would you consider dropping out of BookTube? No, I'm here because I enjoy all of you. Really, I think I would really miss you guys. I know that. I would just like, if I didn't watch you anymore. No, I would be losing a big chunk of my life. I don't even know if that's safe to say, but it's just very honest. I think I just so love being part of BookTube and what it's come to mean to me, that no, I wouldn't drop out of BookTube. I would stay. Are your posts designed to attract new subscribers? No, just to keep my posts interesting enough for people to watch. And are you distressed if you lose subscribers? No, I mean, I've had a, one day I noticed, oh, so let's say I've got 273, and tomorrow I see I have 270. I'm like, oh, but I don't check it every day. When I do check it and I happen to notice one or two are gone, I'm figuring that's normal. So that doesn't rule me. That doesn't decide anything for me either way. And do you always respond when tagged? Well, I'll be better about it now. When I was in school, I would try to, but I know I missed a few. So, and just to let you guys know that you remember me and that you tag me is the most special thing. So thank you to all of you for that. 10, do you respond to viewers' comments? Yes, I enjoy that so much. Are your responses lengthy or only a thumbs up or down? It depends. I always want to say something, and sometimes I could just put a like, or a heart, but I try to say something, and I try not to use those formulated responses that they have underneath, and those of you who are booktubers are going to know what I'm talking about. I try not to use those. I try to use my words. So 11, have you ever blocked anyone from viewing or commenting on your posts? Once or twice. The one I remember was someone who was trying to sell me something. I blocked them. I'm not even going to go there. I may have blocked another person who I thought, and I think this was when I did a review on the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, the big behemoth. And there were lots of comments there. And because it's a religious topic, you're going to get some comments that you kind of look at and go, I guess it comes with the territory. And I think there was one person who made a comment that I thought was like, someone's out in left field and we're over here in the dugout, so I block them. I don't have time for that sort of stuff. So that's about it. Just twice. And I think I've been a booktuber for 2 or 3 years now. So I've been lucky. I haven't had, people with no life who decide that they're going to tell you what to do with your life. No, I'm lucky. I haven't had that. And 12 is to tag some booktube people. I will do that, and I'll always leave that in the details below. So that is my tag for tonight, people. Thank you for hanging out with me. I love you all. Be good until I see you in the next few days. Bye bye.